This is PopImpressKA Journal, and we're here with Ehud Segev, and he's a mentalizer.
But mentalizer is actually a word that was given to me by the media. Because what I actually did was analyzing people using my mental abilities. So I would try to look at people and know who they are. The media called me the mental analyzer because I did it, because I was doing all these like great crazy things. And sooner or later that phrase, the mental analyzer, got shortened, it just became like one word. Instead of the mental analyzer, it became the mentalizer. But it's so funny because that word, the mentalizer, just became a bigger and bigger part of my life, just started to becoming something that I figure can really change the world. And the reason why I'll tell you is because, we were born and we were raised and we're being programmed by the media, by our parents, our teachers, our friends, everybody around us are like programming us all the time. We're being programmed as we live, we grow up and we stop communicating with ourselves because people tell us that's not the right thing to do, don't do that, don't do this,
Yes.
And you start listening to what other people want you to do and how other people expect you to behave, and that's what you do. You are programmed. You are like a program of the media and of reality. So basically I thought to myself, okay, the mentalizer mission in this world, my mission, will be to help people mentally analyze others, connect to other people, understand what people really think, what they really want. Not what they say, because sometimes they say something to you, but it means something completely different, I can say no.
Yeah, like in Bulgarian language.
Yeah. Or in India, when they say yes, that's their yes, when they say... if we can use the power of really connectivity, of connecting to people on a deeper level, we'll be able to create something phenomenal in this world. Because people will be able to really feel what other people are feeling, not just what they're saying or what they're trying to convey, like the real essence of their presence. And that's what I'm trying to teach, that's what I'm trying to bring into this world. Stronger connections between people.
Why do you think people are so disconnected right now? Because if you look at the whole world, a lot of destruction going on and everybody have a problem. There's some households happy, of course, but there's always a conflict somewhere.
It's very simple. The answer is reality. And I mean reality, I mean like the reality generation, that everything is like a reality TV. Everything is like you live other people's lives. People are like, they used to be in the magazines, all the gossip magazines, you read what this guy is doing, what she's doing, how they live their lives, then they started putting it on TV, all these reality TV shows, this is what they do. You stop living your life. You are trying to be like you're trying to be like them, like that celebrity, like that person from TV. You have to go and see what other people are saying, what other people are doing, the Big Brother, all these TV competitions that they're like following these people and that's their life. And you lose yourself because you're so busy trying to be someone else. And when we're busy trying to be someone else, we're losing our path. We don't even remember what our path, if we ever knew it. Instead of being connected to ourselves, knowing what makes us happy, what makes us fulfilled, what's our passion, we're trying to do other people's passions. We're trying to follow other people's dreams. And when we can't do that, we're getting upset. And we take our anger on other people, and the people close to us, and the people that we love, because we're just in the wrong place. We're not in the right place where we need to be.
How do you think we get into the wrong spot and we're not supposed to be
By trying to be someone we're not. By following other people's paths, and not our own.
I read that when you were a little boy, it was I think it was 12 years old, you went to a library and you had that huge desire to get all these books on spirituality and the science of knowledge of spiritualism, and even your mother had to give her permission, right?
I was so young, and I just remember that I was so intrigued by this. I started as a little magician. I used to do magic tricks to all my friends because I loved watching them going like, wow, how did you do that? But I hated one thing. I hated the fact that every time I did something to them, I had to trick them into saying something. I had to use a special gimmick, a special technique, hide a string, a mirror, something like that to fool them and do that trick to them. And I was like, there must be something bigger. There must be some real way to read people's minds, to make something happen, like real magic, like the real power of influencing someone to do what you want them to do. And maybe even talk to dead people. I was very young, I didn't know. So I went to the library, and I was like taking all the books I could find about seances, spirituality, about talking to ghosts, about, but psychology of personalities, hypnosis, stuff that a 12-year-old boy shouldn't read. The librarian was like, she saw that and she was like, oh no, you put that back, that's like, no one will take it when I'm working here, not you. It's for older people, you're gonna go crazy if you read all that stuff. I don't want to be in charge. I don't want to be responsible. I'm like, no, I have to read it. That was before the time of the internet. Today everybody on the internet can learn everything.
Right.
But then that was the internet. You go to the library, you get that stuff. And here's a woman trying to hold me back and not let me get the information I was craving for.
Now, the science of Kabbalah. How did you, because I know it's the most difficult knowledge out there that really someone can understand.
I'm not sure if it's the most difficult. It's based on the book of the Zohar. The Zohar is what Kabbalah is. All this Jewish mysticism is based on the Zohar. It's a lot of people are teaching it, but they have like different schools, different things that has to do with. I didn't understand the difference between spirituality and religion. There's so many things, that you can learn from. Basically, I started, going to this. I used to escape school, instead of going to classes in school.
Did you really?
Yeah, I ran out of school, and outside that school there was a little truck. And inside this truck there used to be like a couple of Jewish men, Orthodox Jewish people that would read the Holy Bible and, try to teach the kids once they go outside of school, grab them and get them into that truck and teach them some Judaism, stuff. It was fun though, it was an interesting experience. It was just, like 20 years ago or more. But they taught me all these things about religion and they opened my eyes, and they wanted to make me a believer, to believe in God and stuff, but it actually opened my mind and I wanted to learn more and more and more. And not just about religion, but, really more about spirituality. And that's where Kabbalah came into the picture, because Kabbalah is a very spiritual thing, and the more I learned, I saw that you don't have to be religious in order to learn Kabbalah. There's a few rabbis and, like the Chabad organization that is doing all these like Kabbalah lessons, or Rabbi Berg from the Kabbalah Center, and then there's this Rabbi Lightman who shares his. There's a lot of people that really share that knowledge with the world, and they're doing it, most of them are doing it, not to make money, but to really share the wisdom. And it's beautiful because each one can really take whatever they want from that and learn the things that they want from that. If they're smart, if they're not, being pushed to believe things that they're not supposed to believe. As long as you're 100% focused and you know what you believe in and you know what you want to learn and you're open to learning new things, but you're not being like pulled into following other people's,
Path.
Yeah, you just need to know that you have to have your doubts. Just have your doubts.
Is it necessary to have your doubts?
I think so. I think that doubting is one of the most important things ever. Every time I talk to people, I say, no matter what happens, doubt. Doubt everything I say. Doubt everything you hear. Open up for it. Be open for it. Learn it. Even experience it. But always doubt it. So you won't be lost.
How about like those people, they go to people who read the cards, or they go, I need to go to psychic because I don't know what's going on. What is your advice to them? Because I know a lot of people, when they go into despair or they have trouble, and a lot of people out there, they go to extremes. What would be your suggestion to them so they do the right thing?
Well, that's a big question because it has a lot of things involved.
Right.
Those all these like psychics and stuff, which we know that most of them are charlatans, and that that a lot of them are fake. I'm saying a lot of them because I don't want to say all of them, because I don't know. But I know that most of the psychics out there that I met were really fooling people. I saw it from the side because I know a lot of the techniques they're using. And that adds to the ignorance of people. They're being more and more ignorant because they believe that these people have some kind of supernatural power or psychic or medium powers that they don't really have. They're using some methods to make you think that they do. I do, however, think that they have some methods that people can use in order to communicate better with each other. So if I'm a fake psychic right now and I need to, pump information from you, I would use techniques like cold reading, which is like a special way of saying some things, open-ended questions, all kinds of stuff that will help me figure out what you're thinking and try to make you say like, yeah, how did you know? But I didn't really know. You gave me the information just by nodding about stuff that I did. So I said, listen, if you can use that information, those tools to communicate with people on a daily basis, you'll be able to open up to people and learn them and get them to open up to you, because you'll be like good friends like from scratch, and you'll be like you are almost reading their minds. That's what I'm trying to teach in my books, in my workshops, in my seminars. I'm teaching people how to use these techniques of the psychics, of the charlatans, how to use cold reading and hot reading and even warm reading. I'm teaching them like these methods in order to do good things.
And those are two great books, actually. There's one I see here, Secret of the Voice, and there's 9 Steps to Influence.
Yeah, those are my 2 published books so far. I am working on some other books as well. But these are my 2 first books. Secrets of the Voice is actually a book that talks about the 5 elements of the voice. And if you know how to dissect them and analyze each and every one of these 5 elements,
what are they, would you say?
They are the pitch, the pace, the volume, the tone, and the rhythm. If you know how to pull these 5 elements while I'm talking to you and create like an axis so you can tell how my rhythm goes, what's my tone on that second, what is the volume, the pitch, is it a high pitch, is it a low pitch, you'll be able to know a lot about me and my personality and whether I'm saying the truth or not and exactly what I'm trying to convey. So if I'm telling you a story but I actually mean something else, you'll be able to know it.
Well, what's the trick? Like, for example, if a person lied to you, right, what's the voice tone going to be?
That is really a big question, because there's something that is called norming when you're analyzing a person. If you learn body language, you'll learn that important thing that is called norming. And norming is a process of normalization. It means that you cannot just say this guy is lying just by meeting him on the first spot. You need to norm him in a way that you're understanding what's his normal way of speaking. And when you know what's the normal phase, you'll be able to notice when he's out of norm, when he's not normal, when something changed. Like if I start talking like this all of a sudden and my pitch goes higher and my rhythm is like much faster, and you see how everything changes. Everything changes right now. It's not the same. This is not the same person you were talking to a second ago. Do you understand?
Right.
And if I go slow and my pitch goes down, everything becomes more mysterious. I create suspense. Everything changes. The rhythm slowly, the pace slows down. Create anticipation. Can scare you, you know.
That's probably the Casanova used that, you know.
But people have those gut feeling when they talk to someone. But if they get the tools of really knowing what it means and why it means that way, and you know why different people act different ways, it's a very powerful thing for them. And I was looking everywhere for that. I was like, I'm sure that there's a way for people to understand what a person is trying to think or feel just by the way they talk. Couldn't find anything about it. And that's when I realized, if there's nothing about it, I'm gonna write about it. And that's when I wrote this great book. And it's beautiful because this book, until today, it's the #1 best-selling on Amazon.
Amazing.
For a few months already, it doesn't leave the #1 ranking, and it's beautiful. So, you know, in the category of leadership, if you go there, you go to Amazon, and that's really exciting for me. And this book too became a bestseller like in a few days, you know, within a few days, and it lasted like for a few months.
When did you publish those two?
This was published like last year, but this was published like really recently, like a couple months ago, you know, 3 months ago. And this book is just really the Mentalist 9 steps to influence, like what I see as a mentalist, as someone who's like mentally analyzing people, and I wanted to come up with like 9 simple steps that anyone can master in order to influence people, you know. So that's when I wrote this book, and it's great. I got amazing feedbacks about it and great reviews and stuff. So hopefully people that see that will definitely get those books on Amazon.
And as far as those 9 steps to influence people, what would be your advice? Because I know we are in such a complex show business industry, right? So a lot of times we see people coming towards with proposals, with projects, and we do believe, but sometimes it turns out to be a different way. What would be your advice to people out there? Because there's a lot of young models, there's a lot of people that going towards the industry. How would they balance to understand, is it true or is it false, or in that case?
You are so right. You know, you talk about that and I see those visuals coming in my eyes, you know, of all the people that are taking advantage of the young people who don't know. Again, we're going to go back to that word that is doubt. You have to doubt everybody. And it's very sad to say, but you have to start from default by thinking that people are going to take advantage of you. And it's funny, in a way, you have to ask yourself, am I willing to be taken advantage of for this cause? I mean, because you understand that it's a capitalistic world, right? Everybody just wants to earn, everybody's like greedy, well, except for me and you, of course.
Of course.
But everybody wants to get something. It's funny, we call it the WII-FM radio station. The WII-FM radio station actually stands for, WII-FM stands for what's in it for me. Everybody wants to know how they're gonna, you know, gain from something.
So true.
Everybody.
So true.
What's in it for me? What's in it for me? Everybody wants to get something, you know, and they want to become a part of the pie. They want to be a part of it. So when you meet people, you understand that, hey, this person wants to take advantage of me. Question is, will that be beneficial for me? Will I get my own benefits from him taking advantage of me? And if that is a yes, give it a go, you know. Don't sign any huge contract, you know, without knowing what you're going to, but say, let's try, let's see if it really works for the both of us. If it works, if it's a win-win situation, it's great. But unfortunately, most people will try to, you know, use you, even if they say they don't want to use you, and inside they just want to get the best for them. But I just look around and I see that most people are like that.
And for you, when you were growing up, and of course for you, I understand materialistic, it's more spiritual that you're interested in, and it's true. Now, when you were growing up, what are the tools that your parents gave you that brought you to this status and to this being as you are?
You know, my mother, she's a very unique person. And I was very attached to her as a little kid. I was very close to my mother. Like they say, the little kids, the boys that are always like...
Mother's son?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she was very smart because she did one thing that other mothers didn't do. When I grew up, I told her, Mom, you know, this thing you did, you need to open a school for motherhood. You know, you need to teach girls how to be mothers because you've got something going for you. You know, you did something right. And that thing that she did was always to not try to educate me in a way of, you do this and that because I tell you to, because I'm your mother. No. She would give me her input. She would tell me what she thinks, but then she would always say, but if you decide to do the other thing or to go a different route, I'll support you for that as well. So she would always tell me, listen, from my point of view, as a person who already been through all this in life and learned a lot and I'm much older than you, I think that you should do this and this and that. That's how I see things. That's what you should do. But if you decide to do something else, I'll back you, and I'll be here for you, and I'll help you achieve that other thing. Because you should experience it all. And if that's what you feel, go with your gut.
Now, I know you lost your mom. I'm very sorry for that. Now, and you had a special place, a cafe that you created.
Mm-hmm.
Would you tell us more about it?
So basically, when my brother...
Would you tell us what happened?
Yes. So the story was very sad. I was really... I had a tour in Mexico. I was performing in Cancun. Was doing shows in all these like resorts, every night in a different resort. And then one day, this stupid war started in Israel. Where in South Lebanon, the Hezbollah started shooting missiles into Israel, and Israel had to try to push them away. And then they drafted my brother, who wasn't even in the army. The army at that time, he was just, he was 27 years old, working as a manager for Microsoft. He had his life, he was married, had a 3-year-old baby. All of a sudden they're drafting him as a reserve. And everything was just too many things happening at the same time in this stupid war and all these people dying. I was really worried about everything, I just couldn't sleep at night, so I just didn't know what to do. And then one night, it's 2 a.m. in the middle of the night, I got a knock on the door in the middle of Cancun in Mexico. And there was this Israeli consulate in Mexico. I didn't know who it is, I just saw a person talking to me in Hebrew saying, are you Ehud Segev? And all these people behind him, he had doctors and people that came with him to tell me. But he just had to say, are you Ehud Segev in Hebrew, and I already knew what he's going to say. Because that's the only thing that happens at 2 a.m. in the middle of the night when you're getting a knock on the door. And you see an Israeli guy in the middle of nowhere. So that was the day that changed my life completely. That was the day that I was completely... My life started from scratch, I just left everything. I went back to Israel to my family. He was my only brother. And everything stopped, my career completely stopped. That was 7-8 years ago. But it was the biggest change because I lost fear. Fear was gone from my life in that day. I understood that I'm going to do whatever I want to do, and I'm going to achieve whatever I want to achieve, because life can end like this. And you don't have time to think about it, say, should I do it, should I not do it? Should I try to achieve this? No, if you want to do something, go and do it. These things, just like a few months before my brother was killed, I was sitting with him in this beautiful cafe in Tel Aviv, and I brought this brown envelope, and I opened it, and I pulled all these restaurant napkins from it, with a lot of sketches. Or a piece of paper of this airline company that I was flying, writing stuff. And I showed my brother all these notes that I was writing everywhere I was going. And it was the time before, cell phones were you could type in the cell phones notes and all that. No, I would write everywhere I could go, all my concepts and ideas. My brother told me, listen, this can change the world. You have to share those notes with people, with everybody. Your ideas, your concepts, of reading people, of understanding how the world works, how you put it in simple frameworks, you have to do something with that. And I said, I should, right? I should. It's the mentalizer concept. Mentalizer is something that needs to be out there, But a few months later, he's dead, killed. And this is it. And this is in a way his will, this is what he asked me to do. You see, mentalizer education, that's it's becoming reality. Because if I feared, and I had any kind of a fear before doing it, now I don't. I would do anything it takes to get the word out there. And I don't care what other people think or what other people say. You know?
What do you think stops people from creating their reality?
What I say? Fear.
The fear. Is that number one factor?
It's the fact that they talk to their parents and they're like, you shouldn't do that. You should go and work somewhere. You know, you studied so much to work, and now you should be working and getting your paycheck every week or every month. You know, don't do stupid things now. You might, or you go to your friends. They're like, it's not gonna work. Don't even try. You know how many people tried it before you? Or you open the news and the newspaper and you read about all these people that are failing, and everything around you just tells you, stay in your comfort zone. Don't dare try anything new.
But how do you break from economical fear? Because that is number one in a lot of people, that with economy around and having different social and financial backgrounds, they don't know how to deal with that.
That is a certain thing that you cannot change.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who doesn't have money can't open a chain of 100 restaurants the day after.
But what's the door to get it out, like to break it out?
I believe that people should do what they want to do, and I think that if someone is doing the right thing, which is on his path, then the powers of the universe combine to help him achieve it. It doesn't mean that he's going to open a $1 million business the day after. But people don't usually open a $1 million business within a day. They usually start by getting their concept together. And that concept has a lot of points in it. Different points of different, So I know that right now I can do this. I didn't have to publish this book. I could just write it.
Right.
It doesn't cost me money to write. I write it when I'm in the subway. I write it when I'm waiting for my burger to be served to my table. I don't know. I can start with that. I can do a one-on-one coach, telling someone my thoughts. Find someone who will pay me $100 for like an hour, and I will teach him something he doesn't know, and he'll say, yeah, let's do it every hour. And then I'll find a few more people, and I'll do a group, and I'll make $500 in that hour, because 5 people pay me $100 for doing what I want to do, for sharing with them my thoughts, my concepts. And then I'll write a book and I'll publish it and I'll make my royalties and I'll make a DVD out of it and I'll open a website for a $10 a month investment. And I will still work as a waiter to pay my things, but if I do on the other time the things that I'm passionate about, it's gonna be a piece of cake, because that's what I'm passionate about. That shift in the restaurant will go like this, because I know that it's going to be finished soon, and tomorrow I have a day off and I'm going to do what I love doing.
Yes.
And my day-to-day experiences in that restaurant with that client that just came and we were talking about something, that will become a chapter for my new book. And it will become a lesson for that group of people I'm coaching, or whatever it is that will happen in that life that I'm creating.
And what was the purpose of the restaurant after your brother?
My brother, when he became a manager in Microsoft, he left our hometown. We were growing up in this small village in Israel. It's like in the...
What's the name of the town was?
It's called Rosh Pina. Rosh Pina. It's a little village in the north of Israel. Beautiful. Everything was green and fields and grass.
Organic.
Everything was very organic. But when he grew up and he got married, he left Rosh Pina and moved to the center of Israel, to Tel Aviv. And then, it's so funny, because every weekend he wanted to, party with his little baby. He had like this 3-year-old boy. They were just him and his wife were thinking, what should we do? Should we go to Rosh Pina? He loved Rosh Pina so much and he wanted to have fun with my family and with the green fields, and just show his all his childhood, views, memories. And the other choice was to go to the beach, because he loved the beach and he loved the port, the seaport. And every time he used to tell me, we don't know if we're going to go all the way to the north this weekend or we're going to go to the beach. We're going to go he had this dilemma. So when he was killed, I knew that I'm going to create a restaurant, because he always wanted to have a restaurant. He was talking about having like his own cafe place, He said, we're going to open a cafe. We're going to call it Cafe Nimrod. Name it after him.
It's called Nimrod.
Yeah, Nimrod Cafe. And I said, I'm going to open it at the seaport. At the seaport, but I'm going to bring Rosh Pina to the seaport. And I'm going to make it a little village in the middle of Tel Aviv. And this is the slogan. It's called Rosh Pina in the Tel Aviv seaport.
That's amazing.
And you know, everything is like from Rosh Pina. The food, like all this like goat cheese and special dishes with like special breads and stuff from Rosh Pina, from the Galilee, from the Upper Galilee. There's like, you know,
Galilee, the city of Galilee.
the sea of Galilee and everything like over there. And there's like, you know, green grass around it, you know, like you see like the seaport is like brown, and all of a sudden you see like all these like grass and flowers and special things that you know represent the Galilee in that restaurant. So it became a huge success, and it's the first restaurant that is open to commemorate a dead soldier, you know. So you open the menu, and instead of reading the menu, you have like a story about who was Nimrod and how he died. And people have chills, and they're like, we don't know if to smile or to cry. We came here to hang out and have a good time, the good life, and all of a sudden we hear about this guy that was killed, and it's so sad. And that sadness combined with the happiness of being in that beautiful place is a very unique experience, and people don't forget it.
You appreciate life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I know that when you were growing up, you had special memories about your family and about your whole growing up. When you became very successful, how did you deal with your first success, and in order to still be humble, still understand what life and importance of life is all about? Because a lot of times the fame gets to the people and they don't know how to deal with that.
Well, you know, there's a very strong line that I love to say, and the line says, I used to be humble, but now I'm perfect. It's just a funny line. I used to be humble, now I'm perfect. No, listen, I don't believe in fame. I don't believe it.
Because the whole world knows you.
A lot of people know me, thank God that it helps me bring my message out. For me, fame is a tool to bring out the word, because I want to share this word with the people. I want to share my insights. I think that if I can touch people and make them do what they want to do, I nailed it. I made something good. Other people see fame as their target. That's their main focus. They want to become famous. I don't want to become famous. I want to use fame as a platform. So other people are aiming for fame. They're aiming for that. They're like, I'm going to do that TV show, so I'll be famous. And no, I'm saying I'm going to use fame to get to the people I need to get to.
Now there's a very popular TV series, Mentalist, and everybody's watching it. How do you think the whole TV show is truthful, and have you learned anything from you, for yourself from that show, or do you think something that they're doing is completely opposite of what you know?
I've seen that show a few times. I love it. I think that it's a great show, and it became a huge success because it's so good. And it is based on our knowledge, on the mentalist's knowledge, and also on the mentalizer's toolkit, what I'm teaching. One great thing happened from it is that millions of people got exposed to that TV show, and for the first time, it helped me make the switch from just doing shows for entertainment and going into the educational part of my life. So basically, I couldn't afford being an educator or teaching people what I know because there was no money in it and I couldn't pay the rent. So I had to do my shows and entertain people, which is an entertaining show. But the show is not the same as the knowledge. The knowledge is one thing, the show is entertainment. It's
Right.
showbiz. When the show on TV started, The Mentalist, more and more people got interested in the mechanics behind it, the technology behind it, the knowledge. That is when I said, okay, this is my time. This is my time to start sharing with the world my knowledge. And then I created this course how to be a mentalizer, how to be a mental analyzer. You can become just like the guy from the Mentalist TV show if you learn the toolkit that you need to learn. All these, like how to read body language, use things like tunnel vision, all these things.
What's
that I
a tunnel vision?
A tunnel vision is your capability. It's like a exercise that will help you watch one specific thing, get all the details you can from that thing, like everything about this thing, the color, the paint, the material. Is it big? Is it small? What does it feel if I'll touch it? It's like you're tunneling your vision into one thing to learn about something and put it in your mind, store it in a very strong way. Why? Because you're going to use it later. Because if I'll tell you something about that thing, you'll be able to remember the color, the thing, everything. So when people use that tunnel vision, they look at things and they use tunnel vision to realize, I look at that clock, but I also see the time. The time, the materials, was the door open, was it closed, you know? So later on, when you need to get all the information together, analyze it, and know things, you'll be able to know a lot of things that other people would see like, how did you know that? How did you know that? Like, you know everything. You just like have these superpowers that you know things that people don't. So you're at home and your eyes go to the table, and all of a sudden you, with your tunnel vision, you look at the table for 1 second and you watch the magazine, and it's like a little bit like this, it goes in an angle, and you notice like a tiny bit of your husband's eyeglasses underneath. And that tunnel vision is like stuck in your mind right now. It's in your mind, it's not going away. Because that was a tunnel vision, like a picture in your mind. And then you're going out of the house, and your husband's like, wait, but my glasses, I have to find my glasses, I can't find them anywhere. And you say, listen, go to the living room, go to the table, remove the magazine from Friday night. You'll find under that magazine your glasses. And he goes and he's like, what? Well, yeah, the magazine from last Friday. Oh my gosh, you are a mentalist. How did you know that? You have like superpowers. You knew exactly where my glasses are, you know? And I do it all the time to my friends, you know? Go there, back that, move the pillow aside, you'll find it's stuck over there between the two pillows, you know, all that kind of stuff, just because most people won't even notice. But a mentalist just keeps on looking at everything, has this tunnel vision that he doesn't just look at things. He really learns it, okay? That's just, you went in depth to one small thing from a huge pile of techniques that I teach in the Mentalizer Toolkit, you know, that teaches people how to really take advantage of all their senses, sights, listening, hearing, smelling, touch, in order to achieve all this like greatness in their lives, to live a much more powerful life, to unleash the mind and really take advantage of all our senses.
And then, for example, if people go on a job and they're so afraid of something, what do you think would be your advice for them to get out of that state of mind and go and just, because sometimes they don't get the job, sometimes they do. So, but I always felt like regardless the result, it's like an experience. But that fear and that feeling that they get is terrifying. So they tell it to their friends, and they, you know, like going for an application for a job is the worst thing to do, right? What would be your advice for people to kind of move forward? Because I know that a lot of things happen in life and places closes and they have to go through different jobs and scenarios in their life. How do you think they can go without despair? Because despair is the worst. What can they do in order not to get to that state?
What you're talking about is people that are going to a job interview.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest things that I teach in my lessons, because that's a big thing for people. Why is it such a big thing? Because you're going to meet a person that you never met in your life.
Right.
Not just for you as someone who's being interviewed, but for the interviewer as well. Even if you're interviewing people, you want to know that knowledge that I'm teaching, because you want to know how to read that person and see if he's right for you. But the person who sits in front of me and I'm interviewing him right now, that person feels like he's less than the person who's interviewing them. You know, they feel like they're coming, they want something and they need to prove themselves and all that stuff.
Yes.
This is very important. That's where my concepts come really handy, because you know, you need to learn how to use your body language in order to project what you want the person to see. But it's not that easy. Because think about it for a second, Olga. You don't want to send the wrong messages. So if you're sending me a certain message and I'm not into that message, I'll be like, hey, get the hell out of here.
Right.
And if you're sending me the right message, I'll be like, I want her so badly. Like, some girl would sit here and she would think that this boss wants to see that cutie little girl that is like, hi, I'm going to do everything you want, and I'll be so sweet, and I'll be beautiful, and people will come to your office, and I'll take care of them, and I'll make coffee. You know? Mm-hmm. And maybe that's what he's looking for. You have to know that.
Yeah.
Maybe he needs that beautiful girl to sit there and be like, you know, the face of the office, and she needs to be sweet. She doesn't need to be powerful at all.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's looking for a powerful woman to do the things and run his errands and do that and make sure that she makes the phone calls and people are getting to their work on time and all that stuff, he will kick her out and say, thank you so much, you can go. But if that little girl would be like, yes, sir, we can do that, and I'm going to take care of everything for you. You tell me you need that done, and I'll do that. So basically, as a person, you have to read the other person's body language and their mind and their thoughts and their feelings, know what they're expecting you to do, and fit into that square.
Tell them what they want to hear.
And once you know, the problem of most people, I'm taking you to the next step right now, is how to do it.
Right, so how do you do it?
How do you do it? If you already know what that guy is looking for, because you were listening. This is what I teach, is an active listening. Not just listening to hear, but active listening to learn. You listen because you're learning. You're looking at the person in front of you and you're really listening to everything they say, every word they use. There's a reason why they use that word. There's a reason why they use it in certain ways, like I told you, pitch, pace, volume, tone, and rhythm. But you're actually actively listening. Not just listening and hearing, but actively listening. And you learn what that person wants. And you're there and you know how to behave, but you're not sure how to do it. Because you're like, I'm not sure, it's not me. The person he wants is not me. I'm different, I'm not, maybe I can't do that. Maybe I'm not powerful enough like he wants. No, you are powerful enough. And that's when that beautiful line comes into the picture, which is, fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. Even if you're sure that you're not there and you're not the right person, you're gonna fake it. Because you're not gonna get another chance. You're gonna fake it and you're gonna make pretend as if you're that right person. And if he takes you to the job and he says you've got it, you'll keep on faking it every day. And you know what will happen? You will program yourself to be that person. And that is when fake it till you make it becomes a reality. Till you make it.
And it's incredible because we can share it with so many people out there.
Well, I hope they're going to love it, and I hope they're going to check my website for much more and subscribe for my blogs and you know.
How do they find you, by the way?
They just go to www.mentalizer.com. Mentalizer.com, that's my website.
And then we always ask, what are your 3 wishes to come for your future?
Well, my first wish will be that really all this plan that I have will work, and that I'll be able to really reach out everybody, because I believe that if people will be more connected, this world will be a better place, and that will be my little gift for this universe, you know. So I really hope it's gonna work. My second wish is not gonna happen.
Well, how do you know?
Because if I had a wish, then it would be to get my brother back. And that's something that...
He's always with you.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes we just want that physical aspect
Presence.
of hugging him and just seeing him one more time, you know, just... So that could be another wish, just, I have to say it because although, you know, it's never going to happen, but if I had a wish that...
But he's with us now, because
Yes,
we're talking about him.
Yes, he is. And the third wish, unfortunately, I'll keep it to myself, because it's a big issue for me right now, and I'm really wishing for it to be solved quickly and be what I want it to be. but it's something personal.
And
But I do have that third wish
You do?
with me, so don't worry about it. Maybe one day I'll share it with you, but now I'll keep it for myself.
That's great. And what are your future plans?
Hey, you said that's the last question. Now you're doing
That's
another.
one more.
She's fooling everybody like that, or is it just me? Well, I think that you already know what my future plans are. I'm going full throttle with all my power to get the word out there, to get as many people interested in what I teach, in those things, and hopefully to make them use it in order to get what they want in their lives.
Fantastic.
If I change one person's life, I did what I needed to do.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Ehud,
much.
it was just a pleasure.
I'm so happy. My pleasure. PopImpressKA. PopImpressKA.
Thank you.
Say PopImpressKA.
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 You know that ra of the Russians, the Russian ra. Nobody can say it in America, and in Hebrew you say reish. So you do this with your tongue. Do you know that?
I didn't know that.
Like I said, how can I say that to da? And they said just say da 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 da, and then put your finger underneath your tongue and go like da 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 da.
That's the R.
The
R.
reska, reska, re.
But it's popular.
PopImpressKA, impresska, not PopImpressKA, impresska. It's hard to be Russian. So.
But it's popular, impressive kaleidoscope.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I saw it here. Popular, impressive kaleidoscope. It's beautiful.
What's in the name?
Wow, PopImpressKA.